Hey everybody, it's me, Collin, with Courageous Canines Dog Training, back again at Save a Friend of Homeless Animals here in Skillman, New Jersey. Today I'm hanging out with my good, sweet little guy here named Peanut. You're so smart. Yay! Peanut is available for adoption from Save, so I'll have their information at the end of the video as well as my own. But what I'm going to play around with today in training with Mr. Peanut is basically teaching him how to lay down on cue. So, right, it's pretty easy for most people, generally, most people to teach dogs to sit. Sitting, right, is a pretty natural behavior. So too is laying down, but there's a lot of reasons dogs won't lay down, right, in the moment. They can get nervous, they can get anxious, they can get excited. Those all kind of work against, right, the desire to relax and lay down. So as we kind of introduce him to this game, all I'm going to do usually for most dogs is to get them started in an already seated position, right, because they're already halfway there. And then I'm going to take some of my nice stinky treats to lure him for about 8 to 10 times. And I'm going to take that lure right to his nose, and I'm going to kind of draw a straight line down. Good. And as soon as he hits the ground, I'm going to praise and give him a treat. Even if it's real brief, even if it's kind of hunched. Good. That's a good starting point. All right, bud? Over here. So then I just reset and do it again. Good. So he's seated. Take that treat. Draw from his nose to the ground. Good. Now you can give him the lure, technically. It's not a big deal if you give him the lure or use a different treat. I kind of like to treat from my opposite hand so that it's kind of easier to make the lure go away rather than them thinking, okay, the lure is about what I'm about to get. The lure disappears and then they still have the treat coming from that opposite hand. Good. Now, if I'm going from a standing position, it's just a slight difference. Good. Usually they're going to figure out pretty quickly that we're looking for the same thing when we lure in that same direction. Nice. Good boy. Now, technically, there's kind of two different downs, right? Down on your haunches and a more relaxed, kind of hips flopped over down like you just did right there. That is usually the better one to kind of reinforce. If he doesn't get it, sometimes just leave that hand there for a little bit. And then try and draw it again. Again, sometimes starting in that seated position first, then all the way. Yes, good boy. Good. And you see, that's one way to help kind of encourage that hip kicked out to the side down is I sort of give him his treat over his shoulder a little bit, like up off to the side. Good. Usually it's going to make him kind of turn his head and flop his hip to the side. What this is useful for when it comes to like reinforcing a down is, this is even less compatible with action. We love incompatible behaviors at times in training. If we have a dog that loves to bark and lunge, when the doorbell rings, we love to teach them, to go to a specific spot and lay down calmly, instead when we redirect them. And kind of those sorts of shifts in behavior help to, kind of shift their brain chemistry, partly based on all the conditioning we do, when we're teaching them in the first place. A lot of this food reinforcement, and right now I'm just reward training the fact that he's staying down for so long. This food reinforcement builds, positive and calm and good feelings into this exercise so that he feels good about laying down when I ask him to, especially, if he might otherwise feel nervous about it, that's useful. But just in general, it's good to be able to slow him down on cue with this. Now, other random tips when it comes to down, if you have a dog that is at least, friendly with people and eager to learn, but struggles to get down, one of the classic things I might do is either sit on the ground or kneel on the ground and use my leg as an initial lure. Good. And kind of guide them through the tunnel until that stomach hits the ground. Good. So walking through the tunnel. I could also potentially use a chair for this if a dog is a bit too nervous to try and, get under my space like this, which, if a dog is not great with people at first, that can be pretty nerve-wracking to be in our personal space. But this is, again, a nice sort of shortcut for dogs that really struggle with that initial luring, which some dogs will just sit there and kind of try and nudge your hand all day. But it can be easier for some dogs just to good drift down that way. The big thing is their stomach hits the ground, praise and treat, praise and treat. What a good boy, Peanut. Now I'm going to give it a try with nothing in my right hand. This is that moment where I try to move on from luring. So I'm going to test that hand signal. So he's seated. I take my hand. I draw it straight down. Good. He did it. Good. So that little sleight of hand moment, I give him a nice jackpot. Good. That little sleight of hand moment where I get rid of the treat in my right hand is really where I've started creating that command finally, right? Where instead of just luring him with a treat, I'm now giving power to my hand. Now, at first, yeah, I drop my hand all the way to the ground. But what's nice here is I can refine over time a slightly less intense hand signal, partly just by going slightly less to the ground each time. So even, within a single game, I might try and every repetition go like a half inch less, maybe an inch less. And then each time I play, I'm going to see if I can keep kind of tweaking that up to the point where I'm able to just wave my hand down from up here. So that takes usually a few sessions, some repetition and rehearsal. But the idea is at first the hand signal is nice and obvious like this, where it draws right from his nose all the way down. Good. So again, empty hand, transition. Whoop. Good. Here you go, bud. Empty hand. Draw to the ground. Good. What a good boy. You're so smart. Now, in order to create a word that, has meaning in this case, just like with a lot of our other commands that we create a hand signal around, I just have to say that word right before I use my hand signal in order to give that word meaning. That little order of association helps dogs to start assigning value to the word, because the word happens, then that thing happens. Eventually, we can test them with just the word and see if they've, learned based on that, order of association that the word has the same meaning as the hand. But for now, the hand signal has kind of all the value. The hand signal is the easiest thing to understand because it's body language based. So don't be shy about using it in new settings. Don't be shy about luring just to get them started again when it's a setting that's too scary or too exciting, too new for them to focus in. So I'll say down. Good. Patience helps. Sometimes you just got to wait a little while. Good, while they figure it out. Good. That can be better than sort of repeating. If I'm going to repeat because they didn't get it, I want to wait like maybe 10, 15 seconds. Kind of let the moment pass, then try again. Right, good boy. Good. Down. Good boy. Down. I'm going to keep my eyes to myself. Sometimes that can be kind of already a reward signal or just an exciting signal for your dog. So I like to make that eye contact happen alongside my treat moment, especially when I'm kind of down in their face like this. Otherwise, it can be easy to just get a mouthful of tongue right there, right? Hi, big guy. Down. Good. Empty hand. Peanut. Down. Good. Look at that. Oh, the hips kicked over and everything. I love it. Down. Good. What a smart guy. Can we sit? Nice. Oh, you beat me to it. So there's a moment where if I want to be nice and specific, right? Good. I'll reward him maybe just for sitting, since that's all I asked for. Because if he jumps ahead and, I'm trying to kind of practice those word commands and my hand signals, and he gets ahead of me and just starts doing things without me asking, then he may get confused as to really what I'm asking him for and just kind of combine all of the things together, right? So all I do is get a little specific about when I reward. Sit. Good. Down. Good. Perfect. Good boy. Down. Nice. That was a good one. And I was not even touching the ground that time. We're starting to make some progress there. So good work, Peanut. Thank you, big guy. So once again, I'm Collin with Courageous Canines Dog Training here at Save, a Friend of Homeless Animals in Skillman, New Jersey. My buddy here today has been Mr. Peanut. Peanut is available for adoption and clearly very eager and ready to learn. He's a very friendly guy from what I've been seeing. And you can find their information down below, as well as my website if you're interested in learning more about me and what I do. Beyond that, if you enjoyed the video, please feel free to like, subscribe, comment, give us some feedback, tell us what you'd like to see, and we will see you next time. Have a great day. What a good boy, Peanut. Hi, buddy. Who's a good boy? Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Yes.